What is up, CineNerds?
I am JP.
And I'm Ryan.
What is up? It's been a minute since we've been together.
It has. Getting another batch of recording in today, so we're hoping you guys are going to like some of our picks. What'd you pick for this one, JP? Or I guess, is this one a mutual one? No, wait. This was yours. I'm going to give this to you.
We can give this one to me.
Okay.
Well, I was thinking we made some film selections and we decided to do another top 5 in this recording session, and I had just watched this movie and was like, hey, if you get a minute, just watch it. We'll go ahead and review this one too. So I'll take the credit for this one.
You can have it.
Yeah. So this one is it's a new film. It came out this past year called Azrael. And it stars Samara Weaving, and man, this movie. What is your initial thoughts on this? Because you kind of told me a little bit before we
started chatting before we recorded, and we usually don't do that because we want to keep the ideas fresh. But man, was this one rough, because it always baffles me or bothers me, should I say, when I go into a movie and I come out of the movie with more questions than I went into. And this is one of those ones that you have a lot of questions. However, it's not always a bad thing. So I do like movies when you come out of them and you have the questions, and those questions keep you thinking about the movie. So you're still engaged with it after you've seen it. And those can be good too. So I'm not against the movie. I did like it. I just really was expecting something different.
Yeah. So
yeah.
I had been kind of reading about this film for a while, and being a Samara Weaving fan that I am, like I think she's like probably the best scream queen we've had in years, with all the films that she's done with like Ready or Not and the Babysitter series. But it took me a minute to watch this one. When I finally did, I watched it when I got home from tour after Christmas. I regret putting it off because I fucking love this film. I absolutely love this film, and that's just where this episode left off from, because I had reached out to Ryan and said, dude, you got to watch this film.
Not only did he reach out to me, but he raved about it so hard that he said that had he seen this, and we talked about this in our 24 top movies. There was still a month to go when we recorded that, so there's some movies that we hadn't seen yet, we weren't aware of. His response was, had I seen this movie, I would have changed my top 5.
I would have. This movie would have probably ended up in my top 5 for the year.
So I was like going into this gung ho. I was like, okay, this has got to be good if JP thinks that highly of it. And again, I did not dislike it. I just have so many fucking questions. So we'll dig into it.
So this movie, just to give a quick synopsis, many years following the apocalypse, or the Rapture,
200 years after the biblical Rapture,
a devout female-led cult of mute zealots hunt down Azrael, a young woman who has escaped her imprisonment. Recaptured by the ruthless leaders, Azrael is to be sacrificed to pacify the ancient evil that resides deep within the surrounding wilderness. Yet she will stop at nothing to ensure her own survival. Azrael makes a savage bid for freedom as her escape accelerates towards a vicious showdown between the very forces of good and evil. Now, reading this synopsis, I'm not entirely sure I agree with that's what the movie's about.
There's a lot more going on.
There's a lot more going on, and there's things that me and actually a girl I work with, that she had actually watched this movie based on my recommendation, and her and I was talking about this movie just today, and she asked some questions, and as soon as she asked them, I was like, I really want to rewatch this movie again now with fresh eyes on your question to me. And I didn't get a chance to, because honestly the weather sucks. I had to drive to Cleveland today after work, and I was in Cleveland for a couple hours. I had to drive all the way back from Cleveland back to Akron. So in the end, I didn't get a chance to rewatch this movie this afternoon before we started recording. But however, her question was, were in this description of the synopsis, and I just closed it on here. I was gonna where it talks about a devout female-led cult hunts down Azrael, a young woman who has escaped her imprisonment. Now that may be that she's escaped her imprisonment, but it never really showed that her and her boyfriend or partner or whoever it is had escaped imprisonment.
I think that it almost seemed like they were giving sacrifices to appease the burning ones or burned ones, which are the like kind of the antagonists in this. They're like zombie.
They're like Half-Life demons, is what they are.
They seem like that.
Yeah, they are demon fueled. I think they're spawns of some sort from hell because they're all burnt and like they've came out of hell. So this was the question that was presented to me, and this may paint a different picture for you with this. So the girl I work with, she asked, she goes, "Is the main girl? Is she the daughter of the lead woman that's hunting her?" And when she said this, it made a lot of sense to me.
Oh, I caught it right before she cut her.
Yeah, it's in that whole scene. There's the what now I'm perceiving as a mother, father, and probably a brother, because the father figure there is crying with his back turned when she's strapped to the chair at the beginning. Did you catch this?
Which one is supposed to be the father? The ugly one with the long hair?
Yeah.
I don't think he's the father. He's too much of a dick.
I don't know, man. If you go back to that scene, he is crying.
Yeah, but I also think there's an emotional element because they're all doing the breathing, chanting. So just to let's give a little more, let's paint a little picture here for you. So this cult, one of the things, because again, this has to do with biblical elements and these demons, right? So this cult, they have crosses right here on their throat where their vocal cords would be. It's a vow of silence. They've literally cut into their vocal cords so they can't speak. They believe speech is sin. And what we gather when you start off the movie, it's this girl, Samara Weaving. She is getting her character, Azrael, is getting ready to be sacrificed essentially to these burning ones. And there's a lot going on because when they have no speech, you're reading off of raw emotion. You're guessing a lot of it. So that's where that's where these questions are kind of coming from. I definitely caught the mother-daughter thing.
Yeah.
I believe that the other girl, the head of the cult, who's pregnant, I believe she's a sister even.
Probably.
That was kind of my thought. I don't know about the dad figure. That one's possible,
but
yeah. That woman definitely is mom.
Yeah, the woman is definitely mom, and the old woman in 10 is definitely grandmother.
Yes,
definitely grandmother. So that paints a whole new picture, and the other thing is, yes, I believe that they're sacrificing to these demons, these woodland demons, we'll call them, kind of like the little woodland creatures from South Park.
I don't watch South Park.
Oh my god!
You just sounded like Cartman in your frustration, though. Oh my god!
There's a reason for that. So just going to go ahead and kind of spoil the ending because this is going to tie into what I'm talking, the question that I'm presenting. Do you believe that this? Because I don't believe they do. Do you believe that this religious cult know that the pregnant girl in the church is actually carrying?
No, I don't think they know that.
I don't think they do either. I think what they're doing, they believe is good and godly.
They think so. The hole in the wall that the lead pregnant woman is listening to, which gives the wind is kind of what they use as their religious predictions or religious feelings, if you will. And this woman sits inside of what's their church, and there's a hole in the wall, and she hears this wind coming through the hole in the wall, but it's the burned ones. They're whispering, chanting, whatever, saying things to her, and she's following the direction without questioning it. She just thinks it's God, and to spoil the ending to your point, when she sees what she's birthed, she unalives herself very brutally. So I don't think that they knew that. But now I'm going to get a little deeper here. I have another theory too. I think this is such a cult that the whole premise of the storyline is for the cult only. It's only in their heads.
Oh yeah, because the guy that picks the girl up in the pickup truck, he's his vocal cords aren't cut. He's
The
talking. He's literally like, "What's going
the
on?" You
burning
know.
one or the burned one that was chasing her all of a sudden has disappeared when this normal dude comes out of nowhere with a normal car, beautiful car, lights, and if it's after the rapture, if it really happened, then the outside world would not be in a great state. And the dude looked like he was totally fine. He just wanted to help her. Picks her up, puts her in the car, and she can't talk, so she's just banging on the dash, saying, come on, we gotta go, we gotta go." And they're driving, and it's not a demon that kills them; it's a bullet that comes through the car from one of the people chasing her. So I really think that we're getting deeper into the cult aspect and how far that rabbit hole goes, the cult. So I don't know the extent of what they have or have not seen. I don't know if this is in her head. I don't know what's going on with this. That's why there's so many questions. It's kind of insane.
So I think in this film, the rapture has happened. I believe that the burned ones, the woodland demons, are there. They're real. The guy that picks her up, I think that this is an isolated cult into this region of forest, and I think that there are normal people out there in the world living, but they're not living like of people trying to redeem themselves. They're living just like they were before, which is. But this guy also had lights all around his truck, so I feel like he knew there are demons out there that he has to watch out for. Um,
Debatable.
I think he did. Um, he wasn't such a he wasn't the kind of I don't know. The way the lights were on that truck, he knew.
He just yeah, but that also could be. I mean, have you ever seen the people in the countryside driving in trucks? Like the big trucks are usually pretty well fitted with lights.
Ryan, I am from the mountains of North
I'm
Carolina.
just I'm
I'm very
then you
well.
know. Then you know that's a normal thing. So, um, now I do have another take on the movie as well. That the biblical rapture did happen, but the people didn't leave. They are the burned ones. That was my other thought. So I had different takes on this from multiple fronts, different envisioning or imaginations, if you will, with how the story could have played out for real. But that was the frustrating part, was without having speech, there's no way to deliver that context. But at the same time, it's not a bad thing because imagination helps movies move along sometimes.
It's how you interpret it. I mean, and I watched it. I believe that the burned ones are demons. I think they are low level demons that are just, you know, trying to feed on humans. They can't see and do things like a normal person would. That they smell blood. They come after you whenever they smell what they're looking for. Um, so I think that they're demons, and the main girl, Samara Weaving, and her character name, even in IMDb, is Azrael. But obviously, we don't know her name. Again, we don't know her name. We just know the movie's called Azrael, so we assume that her name is Azrael. But I'm also interpreting that as Archangel Azrael, and Samara Weaving's character kind of takes up that mantle towards the turning point in this film when she becomes, you know, the angel of death, which is what Azrael is, and she goes around, she kills everybody in this fucking village, and she basically John Wicks this entire fucking village.
Not as good.
Not as good, but
This girl, like, I mean, to me, the fight scenes were pretty cool just because they did drag out. She just would not die no matter what they tried. And every time they tried to sacrifice her to these burning people, it wasn't just a just kill her and be done. She's already caused enough problems. It was a let's do this. Let's do this. Now the interesting one, so her third time before she tries to go crazy on the whole encampment, um, they put her in a coffin in the ground, and they put the lid on the coffin, and they bury it. But then there's a door at the end of it that they lift up at the foot end, and that is a cave that allows these burned ones to crawl to her to again be sacrificed. Now, what happened before that? She had made it as far into the encampment. I think that was the third time at this juncture. She had made her way into this thing though and got all the way to the leader and started to attack
It was
her.
definitely the least. I think it was the second time for
Second
sure.
time.
Yeah.
And when she I don't know if it was, I can't remember if it was when she got knocked down or when she was falling. However, she fell. When she fell, her fingers scratched the pregnant belly and the blood got inside of her fingernails. So this bird one crawls in and almost has a xenomorph Ripley moment where it's face to face with her, but it's smelling her fingers and smells the blood of the baby. Um, and it doesn't touch her because it deems that as sacred because of the demon thing or whatever. And so it was an interesting moment, and I think she caught on to that, and that helped her in her efforts when she escaped.
And it seems like that. And honestly, I felt like that through this whole movie. I felt like this movie was just very tense. I felt very tense from kind of almost start to finish in this whole movie, and not like tense like I was so tense I was scared tense. It was just like, I don't know, it was just kind of like you said, that whole Ripley scene, with Xenomorph and her face to face, just like they shot with the burn one and her in that hole. I felt just really tense and uneasy throughout this whole film, start to finish.
Well, you like demonic things, and you like the TV series The 100. So that kind of that's kind of this in a nutshell.
I mean, the 100
Minus
is great.
space, minus space.
The 100 is great.
Yeah.
So yeah, I thought this whole movie was like I said, I was tense from the start to finish, and man, the practical effects in this film. Come on, the practical effects in this film are so fucking good. The gore in this film is top notch.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely. I'm not in any way put off by that. I'm not in any way put off by the film as a whole. I mean, it was good. I just so many questions, and I wish to God I get answers.
What's some more questions? Let's try to work them out.
Most of them have already been said. Like I want to know which path, which guess of mine may or may not be correct. Where these things came from. What
They came from hell.
Well, they're on Earth though.
Hell on earth. Rapture happened. Apocalypse is here.
It did so in the reading that I read. It did say the biblical rapture. Mm-hmm. So if we're going by that context, and there is a biblical rapture that happened, then you have to assume there is heaven, there is hell, and that it is possible it came from hell. However, where did they come from? Hell? Did they come from a hole in the ground? Did they come up through church? Like, what are they the ones that were deemed so horrible that God just burned them right there when the rapture happened? I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? Like, there's so much I can go down this. I definitely would not be opposed to a sequel for sure. Hell, a prequel would be great, so we could see the actual.
I was going to say you want a prequel.
I would like a rapture prequel, like where it's happening and how everything goes fucking sideways. But I do think it would be cooler to do a almost like Quiet Place Day One, where you're in the city and we would see if people are living normally, like the people who didn't get raptured away, are they like going about life like normal and everything's cool, and these demons are just coming in and they take them out when they come in? Like how is this all working?
That's how I perceive it.
So I would like to see world picture kind of how things are rolling with that. I mean, there's so many they could do.
I think. Well, the thing is, I don't entirely picture it that way. This is how I always pictured it. Yes, the rapture happens. God takes the souls of everybody to heaven that He deems, worthy of coming to heaven, that have been saved.
Damn it, the Jehovah's Witnesses are right.
They are not right. They are not correct. And everybody else is left. They're left behind. They have to deal with the aftermath of everything. And I think that, no, are you going to have all these demons and everything just attacking random people over to all the cities and towns? I don't think that's going to happen. I think you're going to have everyday life, but you're going to have somebody, the devil's going to have control of the world, and you're going to have to live in that world. under this thumb, unless you're out living in the woods trying to hide from political control of whatever the world is, however however Lucifer is controlling the world, and is in the world we're in, it's a political control over the world. These people are living off grid. These demons or wood demons, they're looking for these people trying to live off grid, trying to redeem themselves, trying to find their way back to the good graces of God. So that's how I perceive it.
See, I perceive it a little bit different because if God's already done the rapture and he's taken everyone away, then you've still got what's left of humanity, and they're still going to have some semblance of order. So they're still going to live how they're going to live. Yeah, okay, there's a devil element somewhere where he's controlling and pulling strings. That's fine. I agree with that. But to me, this countryside scenario and this little cult, this little enclosed group, the way they're dealing with it is a lot more um, barbaric, if you will, than how normal people living in the city probably would live. Like, I envision these things, these demons, like deer wandering in your backyard. You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
yeah.
So it was kind of, I don't know.
I'm not saying what these people did are right. You're right. They are barbaric, and they're sacrificing people to these woodland demons.
and their kids too. I'm also curious about that. So like, how do we get to that point where she's sacrificing her own daughter? I'd like to know more about that story too.
Oh yeah, yeah. No, I agree. I want to know what led them to cut their vocal cords. I want to know what led them to be so barbaric. I want to know how they're deciding who they're sacrificing, or why are they sacrificing. I agree. I could definitely go for a prequel film that leads us into that. I could see a prequel film leading us into that more so than the prequel showing the rapture. But that's me.
I think a narrator would be good too.
So
It was the best of times. It was the worst of times.
the surprise ending for this film, though, for me, um, the baby's born. So Samara Azrael is on a John Wick killing spree, killing everybody in his village. Goes into the church. We're going to assume that it's her sister. Has this child that she is pregnant with, and all these woodland demon, fire burnt demons come into the church. Azrael picks up the baby, and what's the baby? It's the son of the devil.
It's the Antichrist.
It's the Antichrist, and the baby literally has a goat head.
But it's got like arachnid eyes. It's got like
yeah,
10, 12 eyes. It's insane.
It's fucking cool.
But here's
it's
the thing.
fucking cool is
So
what
in that
it is.
so in that moment, I didn't think it was all that, but I
It's
get where you're
fucking
coming
cool.
from. So the weird thing for me was definitely the flip. Like, you have Azrael being a protagonist throughout this whole movie. You're siding with her. You're hoping that she comes out on top.
She does come out on top.
She does
as the antagonist.
Because she realizes that we'll just say it's her sister. She realizes that her sister is dead and that this is the baby, and she's holding the baby. And what's crazy is that as the baby came into the world, all the wind, like this is another big key thing. So I talked about the cult listening to the wind. They thought the wind guided them and it was part of God. So when they do these sacrifices, and they in the beginning, when they put Azrael into her chair and they strapped her in, as they start, because they cut her for the blood to carry with the wind, and these things come and find her, the blood. They sniff the blood out, right? But the trees all start moving and blowing back and forth and rustling. And when that happens, the cult people, they all start like huffing and puffing and like breathing deep and almost going into a trance. So while that's happening, you see that there is a religious correlation, that there is some kind of thing going on with that. Now, as the baby's born, the wind starts picking up, the trees start moving, everything's rustling and doing the same things. But this time, there's no one left because she's killed the entire camp. But the fucking burning ones, or the burned, was it burned ones or burning ones?
We'll say the burned ones. I've been calling
So
the woodland demons, but yeah.
the burn online, everyone calls them the burned ones or the burning ones. So I just don't remember which one. But the burned ones start coming into this church. There's like 4 or 6 of them roughly that come into the church, and they all start howling as soon as they hear the baby cry. And they're standing there still. They're not attacking her. They're not doing anything. She clearly knows that with this baby, she has control over these demons, and she gets this shit-eating grin on her face because she just is like, "It's my turn." Like, it was kind of like that. Like, it was kind of that vibe. Like, definitely evil, definitely sinister. Not what you got through most of the beginning of the movie. So I did like that aspect.
I love that. I love that ending.
Because I'm not a fan of happy endings.
And I feel like that suited the name Azrael. It just like 100%. She went on a killing spree of this village, and then at the end, she kind of becomes the antagonist of like, okay, I've got control now, as the angel of death. You know, and that's how I took that, and I thought that ending was fucking amazing.
I was here for it. I'm trying to figure out what's the sister's name. Miriam is the sister's name.
Honestly, I have it right here.
Miriam. And I like that they used the Keenan for the boyfriend's name. Just because it's very close to Kanan. I had to give the Star Wars a little kick in there.
Yeah,
so you thought Luther was the dad.
Yeah, I was looking. Yeah, Luther was the one that I thought could have been the dad. But yeah, I mean, either way, I mean, that woman was definitely her mom.
Yeah.
And
So as she cut her leg, she herself had a tear, and even Azrael's looking up at her like, "How can you be doing it?" Like, you can see. That's one thing I want to give absolute credit to Samara for her in her acting in this. Samira, sorry. All the acting that her and her co-stars had to do in this movie was literally facial expression. I have the utmost respect for that when you're trying to convey emotions and make them more powerful without any kind of dialogue. Kudos, because that was fucking done well.
well, you know, and even in a quiet place, yeah, they couldn't talk, but yeah, they could whisper and talk to each other. This movie, they just can't talk. It's all
And
like some grunts and some facial expressions, and that's it.
We recently we watched and reviewed the movie Silent Night, which also had no dialogue, with the exception of a few lines. That movie nowhere near as good as this. I will. JP and I talked about that earlier. Yeah. This was definitely way better, and done so much better as well.
Different type of film too, but
yes, I mean, but from the silent aspect, you're still delivering emotion to me. So like, even what was given to us in that though, like versus it was actually powerful in the emotions, because you could see the betrayal, you could see the family, the love, the things that were happening, and the disbelief. Yeah, no, there was a lot going on.
There's a lot that happens in this film, and it's a short film. It's not a very long film. It's an hour and a half. And
you know what these type of movies have taught me? That if I'm ever in a scenario where I'm trying to kill someone, to just fucking kill them. Not wait or let other people do it, because this bitch wouldn't die. And we're talking 3 times they tried this.
The thing was, and that's the thing with Samara Weaving. Every movie, and that's why I think she's one of the greatest final girls ever. Every horror film that she's in, she gets the living hell beat out of her, and she just keeps going and keeps going. And have you seen watch Ready or Not yet? God, I love Ready or Not.
The wife made me watch that one, and I appreciated it. I did like it for sure. And in that one, she really gets the shit beat out of her too.
Yeah, she gets the hell beat out of her, and that's the one that was done by the same director that did Abigail.
Right.
You know, and even the babysitter. I mean, she gets the shit beat out of her in the babysitter movie.
Well, there's 2 of those, right?
Yeah.
So that was one of those things that Netflix actually did well.
Those movies are great. Yeah, no, those movies were great. They were cheesy, funny, and gory, and they worked. Everything I love in a horror film. So, did you look at box office for this?
I did. No, I didn't. I looked at another one. I did not.
Oh, I've got it. So let me pull this up here. Let's see if See if you can take a guess at this. Um, do you know what the budget for this might have been?
Given that it was all filmed in a woodland area, um, you've got a couple decent, one main character that's not bad. The rest of them are kind of, B movie level. I'm gonna go 2024. Let's say 25 mil.
You're way high. It's 12 million.
I was gonna go lower, but I was like, I figured that would keep me in a safe ballpark because that's about right. But man, what did she get paid? Because I thought she would have been a higher.
Yeah, I don't know what she got paid, but yeah, it wasn't a very big budget,
No.
But I mean, most of the locations were one location, all
Mhm.
outside. So I mean, it was, yeah. I mean, I'd say most of it was just actor salaries, writer salaries, and camera equipment for the
Yeah.
most part. Permits.
Labor. Yeah.
Domestic international box office. This is laughable. I'm just gonna throw that out there.
Well, I don't know, and this one's a hard one to guess, so I don't know.
So domestic box office was $433,000.
Oh, okay.
International was $225,000. This movie only made basically $660,000.
So this is one of those ones that I feel like obviously we're not going to get any of those follow-ups that we were hoping for.
Yeah.
First of all.
Well, there could be. I think this was a limited release, and I think that this was because you can watch this, I think, on Shudder, and I think this was more made for Shudder, but with a kind of a limited theatrical release. Which, I mean, we saw what Terrifier did back at the same time as this movie came out. They could have advertised this more and made some fucking money, just like Terrifier did. So somebody fucked up, but I'd be willing to bet that this is still getting a lot of spins on Shudder.
So my other thought with this was that, we talk about there's a lot of movies that didn't get a deserved launch and became cult classics. I could see this one definitely falling into that category at some point through the years. Hopefully, it gets that love and it doesn't get just shoved to the wayside because it's definitely worth a watch. Maybe a second watch even.
Oh yeah.
JP will say yeah.
I'll say 100%. This is definitely one of my favorite horror films I've watched all of 2024, and I regret not watching this before we did our top 5. And I know once I watch it, The Substance, I'm going to feel the same way about it. As I haven't watched it yet either. And
I haven't watched that one yet either. So for the regretfully not seen ones for me yet, and I think JP and I talked about this. The Substance, Azrael is on the list. Heretic, which was with Hugh Grant. What was the other? I had another one I talked to you about. I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember right now. The two.
Oh, it was Speak No Evil, and I saw that.
Yeah, the two that I've been regretting not getting to watch before the end of the year was, The Substance and Azrael, and for some part, but it came out at the very, very, very tail end was Nosferatu. But
you know what else? I'm gonna give this suggestion to everyone to watch. If you enjoyed Smile, watch the sequel Smile 2.
Well, if you didn't enjoy the first Smile.
If you didn't enjoy the first Smile, I would still say give the second one a go. Because the second one, there's so many anxiety. Like you're literally seeing in this instance, it's a public figure who's losing their mind in front of everyone, and people think that they're addicted to drugs and that they're spiraling, and there's so many other factors that are involved that you're just like, what the fuck? And the way that this smile demon comes forth at the end, that I appreciated huge. So it was one of those movies I'll put like next to Babadook, where the first 45 minutes dragged ass. It was so hard to get through, not gonna lie. But after that 45 minutes, I was like, okay, now we're picking up. Now we're moving along. So that was one that I threw in that mix too.
Yeah, I didn't watch. I watched. Okay, I never finished the first Smile.
Okay.
because I couldn't make it through it. I cut it off 35, 40 minutes, and I just like, I can't watch this anymore. This is dumb. Like, so I I honestly could not finish the first film.
Did you watch It Follows?
Yes,
Did you like that?
it was okay.
I didn't dislike It Follows. I don't know. There's something magical about an antagonist or evil that you can't do anything about. That it really can't be stopped. And I love that.
Is It Follows the one with the sexually transmitted
It's
disease?
yep,
Okay.
it's an STD.
Yeah.
But this thing follows you if you don't pass it along, basically. So it was interesting. It's kind of like when we saw the movie The Ring for the first time, and there was like this, you're gonna die in 7 days, and unless someone really dug into it, it's what it is. It's you were fucked. So I don't know. Like I said, I'm just not a fan of happy endings, I guess. So I'm a little dark like that.
So yeah, the recommendation I'm going to throw out here, and you know about this film, and I bought it on a whim while I was on tour and watched it. Actually, me and Aaron Nordstrom from Gemini Syndrome watched it. We were both super excited about watching this
Is this
film.
what I think it is?
Invisible Raptor.
I knew you were gonna fucking say it. I knew you were gonna fucking say it. And when I was in your voodoo or whatever, I saw it and I was like, should I? No, I'm not doing it.
So here's the thing about Invisible Raptor.
Goonies?
No, it's not quite. It's not quite.
No. I'm just laughing because of the character. I saw him on the movie poster.
Sean Astin.
Yeah.
Sean Astin from Lord of the Rings and Goonies is in Invisible Raptor. So here's the thing about this film, Invisible Raptor. I want to fucking love this film. And there's so much in this film that I fucking love. I think there's scenes in it that are just top tier, low budget wonderfulness. And this film is kind of one of these that if they could do a re-edit of this film, just re-edit. And when I say re-edit it, cut 30 minutes out of this film. That's all they got to do. Cut a couple scenes, shorten some scenes, tighten some stuff up. Cut 30 minutes out of this film because it's like a 2-hour long film. Cut it down to an hour and a half. And this will be one of the best low-budget films of the past decade if they would do this. Now, how this movie stands has a lot of pacing issues, and it becomes kind of a bore fest through a lot of the film. But then you get to these fantastic scenes with the Invisible Raptor, and it is so
the fact that we're sitting
amazing.
Here, the fact that we're sitting here and you're justifying a movie called Invisible Raptor.
There is a scene. There is a scene. They reenact. I just had to paint this picture. So, everybody who has seen the film E.T., classic film, the kid's taking Reese's Pieces and putting them up the steps all the way to his bedroom, trying to lure E.T. to his bedroom. They reenact this scene with a kid putting pieces of candy down, luring the Invisible Raptor to his room. And then Invisible Raptor doesn't befriend kid, he eats kid. And
so were you okay with this scene but not in Terrifier 3?
Didn't show it.
Did they show afterwards?
To an extent, but that's where I'm getting at. So the next day the mom comes home and there's a giant, kind of like, you ever see Jurassic Park?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the giant pile of shit in Jurassic? Well, there's a big giant pile of shit in this kid's bedroom. And then the mom is being interviewed by the news, and she said, my kid was always a piece of shit, but now he really is a piece of shit. That's all you need to know about this film. Watch it. It's fucking insane.
On that note, I won't watch it. But oh, boy. And that's... see... When you say things like this is why it makes it hard probably for James to take your movie selection serious. I'm just saying. Now, since James isn't here, I'm going to just give a little bit for him. No, but all right, back to...
But you have to appreciate dumb fucking film like I do. Aaron Nordstrom appreciates dumb fucking film the same way that I do. And we loved this film. We sat down and laughed our asses off.
I appreciate it and I like it, but I also know when to say it's not good and not recommend it to other people.
If you want to have a good laugh, Invisible Raptor.
All right, Invisible Raptor. But we got more pressing things to talk about. So, I guess I should go first.
Yeah, we didn't do our ratings
Well,
yet.
I was getting to that.
Oh, yeah, there we
That's
go.
where I was going to. We're going to get us back to Azrael and get us back on track. Because you can only give so much time to Invisible Raptor. I know at some point he's going to make me watch this fucking piece of shit. Anyways, Azrael.
We'll do a 2-part episode, Carnosaur and Invisible Raptor.
All right, anyway, sorry, I was digesting that one. Azrael, for me. All right, so I'm not a fan of cults. They freak me the fuck out. I do like Samara Weaving. I do think this film had its moments, and I do think there's a lot of good stuff that happened in it. I do think that it was done well for what they had to work with. I'm not completely put off by it. The things that I disliked are so minor that that I'm still a fan of it. So, will I give it a second watch? Maybe, but it would just be that. I wouldn't watch it a third and fourth time by any means. A first time watch is definitely worth its time with this movie. So that said, I'm gonna go 3 CineNerds flat.
Yeah, we're off on this one.
That's fair. That's fair.
So, for me, just like you, I love horror films. I love religious films. And a lot of people, I'm sure, don't really get that vibe from me, but I am really religious when it comes down to it. And I grew up very religious. But I also grew up with a mother that took me from different, almost cult-like,
Land the plane. Land the plane.
yeah, I can't land it. I lost it. My mom jumped from kind of little cult religious groups from one to another growing up. And so I kind of had a disdain for religion for a long time because of it. And I have a lot of hatred towards what I do feel is more culty religious people and types. But I think it makes for good film. I think it makes for good storytelling. And so I don't know. I love Samara Weaving. I love the religious aspect. I love diving into anything biblical, and especially anything that has to do with that you can even tie into archangels.
Ooh, we should do a top 5 religious horror.
I'm all for that. So,
That'd be
yeah.
great.
I love anything to do with archangels. I named my son after the Archangel Gabriel. So, I mean, I love anything to do with archangels, which is another reason why I love this film. So yeah, I think this movie is fantastic. It's one of the best horror films I've watched all year. It would have definitely made my top 5. I'm not sure where I would have landed it in my top 5, but it would have been in my top 5. This movie I'm going to throw in at a solid 4.3.
Wow. You gave it a lot more credit than me, buddy.
Practical effects, everything was just top notch in this film.
Yeah, I liked it. I didn't like it that much, but Godspeed, man. If that was your jam, that's your jam.
It was my jam, and it wasn't even a silly, stupid horror film. It was.
And I talk negatively, but I do stand by my statement. You definitely need to see it once. It's definitely worth the watch. Maybe a second time to tie up loose ends or questions you have, but I'm good after that.
I think I can see why some people like me who will really fucking love this film, and then I think there'll be people like Ryan that'll see this and they'll be like, I don't get it entirely, and I don't know if I like this or not. And so I understand.
No, I get it wholeheartedly. I just have more questions, and I don't know. I guess sometimes it's better not to have definitives and answers on your questions and your imagination, and let it just be what it is. So I do appreciate that. I just sometimes I do want those answers too. So I don't know.
So this ties us up on this one, and I think we found a new category we're going to do at some point: top 5 religious films. So maybe we'll do that in the near future.
For sure. because that could be really cool. I got a few that are up there, and I got some great stories that we can shoot the shit about. But that said, 3cinenerds@gmail.com is the email, but I have more this time. CineNerdsPodcast.com is our new website. So do yourself a favor, go over there, check it out. What's cool about this website for us is not just establishing ourselves as having our own website, but also JP has already started putting up just written reviews in there. So we aren't always able to get to all the movies we want to. But if you are curious, he's got some old ones in there, some new ones, some good choices, and his spins on those. So he's written some reviews in there.
And we're going to get this to where Ryan can start writing some of his, and so we can all get in there and start writing some stuff. And yeah, and the website it's just much easier. You're going to have every link to where you can listen to us at on there. So within the menu, you can go to our Apple Podcast, our Spotify, to our YouTube, to our link tree that has even more links to different podcast apps. You can go to our shop. Our shop is linked on there. On our pages, on the podcast page, on the main website page, I have links to the most recent YouTube episodes, the most recent audio episodes. So it's all right there, accessible.
Did I see correctly, or was it just part of the ad process? But it looked like there was a CineNerd skateboard.
I did not make a CineNerds skateboard.
Okay.
So
because if there was, I was like, I'm going to go order that.
maybe I think that's probably something I can add though.
That'd be interesting because
So,
that'd be cool to have up like on the back walls. Or, you
yeah,
know,
I'll go into the print press and
if that's an option, let me know
we
because
do.
yeah, that'd be cool.
And yeah, while I'm here, we're talking about the shop. On this last tour, I actually saw a CineNerds hoodie out in the wild.
Shut up!
Shut the fuck up! It happened. I even signed it.
Did you take a picture with it?
I didn't.
Oh, that'd be great.
I didn't. The girl that had it was super shy. She was like super nervous to meet me, but she had a CineNerds hoodie, and her mom had me sign it for her.
What city?
We were in Knoxville, Tennessee.
All right, Knoxville, Tennessee. If that was you, send us a picture if you have a picture, or just a picture of you in the hoodie.
I actually do know the mother.
That's awesome.
So,
yeah.
But the daughter has her daughter has a CineNerds hoodie.
And if any of you guys out there listening, if any of you have any of the merch too, take pictures of yourselves in it, send it to us. We want to see it. We love that. It definitely warms our hearts.
Alrighty, so we've talked about the CineNerdsPodcast.com. So you can also write a review. All those links are right there. You can write a review. You can subscribe. You can follow. Go to our Facebook and invite your friends. There's a little dots there on our Facebook. You hit those little dots. It'll bring us a little thing down. Go down to select invite friends. You can go through your entire friends list and invite everybody to our page. More so, go write a review. Go to our Apple Podcast. Write a review. Share our podcast. Share it on your Facebook page. Share it on your Twitter, X, Instagram, wherever you're at.
And you know what's cool about that? I've said this before, but I'll say it again. The easiest thing you can ever do to support something that you like or that artists are doing and putting out there is to just share it. And it takes no money, it takes a second of your time, and it helps everyone out. And we appreciate it immensely. So if you guys could do that, we'd love it.
Alrighty.
Cool.
Till next time.
I'm Ryan.
JP.
Peace.
Later.